stuff kind of gives you chills, doesn't it? Thank you for coming, and I think you're in for a pretty neat experience tonight because today officially marks the start of the public transformation of the Schenectady Museum to a regional center of science. And as we announce the acquisition and introduction of two major permanent national interactive science programs coming to the Capital Region. This is really special. These science and technology programs will make Schenectady Science Center a primary resource for schools all over the region, as far as 150 miles away from here. And today's event is an invitation to the people of the Capital Region to become a participant in the science and evolution of science here. And it should be no surprise to any one of us that the Capital Region has become one of the fastest growing science and technology centers around the country. You know, we can look right here in Schenectady and see General Electric has had their research, global, and development here for years, and they spend, I think he said, a number of billions of dollars a year, every year, on research and development. In Albany, the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, you talk about something that's really pretty spectacular. It's the first college of its type in the world. It now encompasses about 1,300,000 square feet. The investment in Albany is something in the neighborhood of $14 billion. And a consortium of over 300 of the world's largest companies working together. When you think about doing that collaboratively, don't we wish that our government could work the same way? And just up the road in Malta, Global Foundries has built a plant for $7.4 billion, probably the most sophisticated chip plant on the planet. And with this vortex of science and technology happening before our eyes, our community really needs to build a stronger infrastructure to change our children's habits of learning and bring them into more STEM education. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's what this whole program is all about. And today we're going to share with you how we got here and what's going on. And of course, I've been a witness to the Schenectady Museum for a number of years. Wife Jane, here in the first row, has been a board member. I can assure you I've been a sounding board over the years and have kept up with what's going on. On January 5th, 2012, a group from the museum and the Challenger Learning Center came to visit me at my office. They asked for help. It was clear to me that the Challenger Learning Center was an unfulfilled great opportunity for this community. They've been around for 10 years trying to put this thing together. And I looked at it and said, wow, it's here, and we really have to take advantage of it. And it was time for the museum to change its course and become a science center, not a museum. I needed to figure out a few things before we started. First, was there a market for the Challenger Learning Center? Would the schools buy it? Would the students buy it? Could we raise sufficient money to pay for it? This was a $650,000 investment to bring this learning center to us, plus a number of other expenses that we'll have to cover. And were there enough good people to support the effort in the Capital Region? And as a result of my findings, I agreed to provide the leadership to make it happen. I talked with George Hurst from Times Union early in the program, and Hurst Foundation had supported it, and he said, Neil, really it's a good project, and we really should get behind it. The Wright Foundation saw it early on that it was a great project, and they originally supported it. But all of us have waited years to try to bring this thing to reality. On February 13th at our office, we entertained a number of community citizens, many of them sitting right here. Charitable people, people from the business community, and we presented the whole concept of the Challenger Learning Center. And I'm happy to report to you that that group has come through beautifully in terms of raising sufficient capital to cover the cost of this project coming to our area. And now I would like to introduce Mrs. Heidi DeBlock, who is a very special person in our life. She's an associate professor of surgery, ICU, at the Albany Medical Center. She's the board president of the Challenger Learning Center, and also was an associate medical at NASA and has a great deal of investment in this wonderful idea. So let me introduce Dr. DeBlock. Heidi?
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to speak tonight on behalf of the Challenger Learning Center of the Greater Capital Region. The Challenger story is a really exciting one. But first, I'd like to share another story with you, one that encapsulates what the Challenger Learning Center is all about. This story is about a little girl who in second grade was utterly amazed when a television was brought into her classroom to watch an Apollo launch that was going to go to the moon. She was absolutely amazed. The sight was spectacular, and the awe of it just sparked an intense interest and a curiosity in that little girl. She wanted to know, how does it all happen? How could anybody figure out how to get to the moon? And it must be really dangerous. And so that little girl went on to keep looking at the stars with her dad and soon fell in love with astronomy. But all she could do to educate herself was to read about it at a much higher reading level than she could master, for there was nothing else to ignite her imagination in the early 70s. Then in 8th grade, her algebra teacher told her that she would need to think of another career if her choice of careers depended upon her knowledge of math. Well, that little girl did not let that deter her in the least. So she went on to study astrophysics at the University of Rochester, and then attended medical school and became a research scientist at NASA. And as a NASA research scientist, she's been able to make significant discoveries about human physiology that directly impact her patients here on Earth. And she is now working on long-duration spaceflight and a future mission to Mars. I'm that little girl, and now stand before you as the president of the board of the Challenger Learning Center. And I'm eager to share this unique and educational program with children and adults of the Challenger catchment area, which is a 19-county region around Albany. The Challenger Learning Center was created by the families of the Challenger Space Shuttle astronauts after that fateful day in 1986 as an enduring monument to inspire students in the studies of science, technology, engineering, and math, known as STEM education. The center presents an integrated curriculum between the child's school and the center. It teaches the student through interactive scientific and communication learning objectives in the classroom, culminating in an interactive learning experience by going to the center itself, where they actually participate in a NASA-type mission in a fully simulated mission control center and space station with a really exciting transport flight through space between the Earth and the station. The students all have learned specific scientific objectives which they must fulfill while on the space station. Those students manning mission control serve as the navigators, engineers, capsule communicators, and flight director. The students spend one half of their mission experience in each place. As in real-life NASA missions, things go wrong and problems arise, and in this case, the students must use their newly acquired classroom skills, such as those involving communications and newly learned scientific knowledge, to thwart and reconcile the dangers that come along. At the end of the day, there's high fives as a result of a successful mission, and they have concluded their experiences by writing up their science lab reports and writing a mock press briefing for the just completed mission. There are 54 CLCs in the United States, a few in Canada, the UK, and Korea. Educational research performed on students who attend the CLCs show that students perform at a significantly higher level on standardized testing and also are more apt to continue on in STEM education. As many of you know, we, the CLC board members, have been working on bringing CLC to this region for many years. We've been blessed recently with the leadership of Neil Golub and George Hurst, who have allowed our vision to come to fruition. We are here to provide an opportunity to our students to ignite their interest in science and say to them, yes, you can. And I would now like to share a brief video with you about the Shuttle Challenger itself.
shuttle makes its way skyward. Challenger, the second orbiter in the shuttle fleet, made her maiden flight on April 4th, 1983.
And liftoff of the orbiter Challenger and the sixth flight of the space shuttle.
STS-6 deployed a communications satellite and featured the first spacewalk of the shuttle era. Challenger was ready for flight in less than 2 months, another massive first. Shuttling the first African American to space, and Air Force combat pilot Guy Bluford.
For me, it was an exciting moment because it was something that I had been training for 15 to 16 months, and so I was looking forward to the experience of flying in space.
We are in an era of brotherhood.
Well, I am so excited to be here.
Amid much fanfare, Krista McAuliffe, an elementary school instructor from Concord, New Hampshire, had been chosen from among 11,000 applicants to be NASA's first teacher in space.
I would like to humanize the space age by giving a perspective from a non-astronaut, because I think the students will look at that and say, this is an ordinary person. This ordinary person is contributing to history, and if they can make that connection, then they're going to get excited about history, they're going to get excited about the future, they're going to get excited about space.
The American public's interest in its space program was renewed by her participation and was eager to see her off. Commanding the flight was Dick Scobie. His pilot was Michael Smith. Serving as Challenger's mission specialists are Judy Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, and Ron McNair. Joining McAuliffe as a payload specialist was Greg Jarvis. From the start, STS-51L was plagued by delays, mostly due to unseasonably cold temperatures in Florida. Rather than give pause for thought, the delays only tried the nation's patience. Everyone, it seemed, was itching to go. January 28th, the ground temperature at Launch Pad 39B was a frigid 36 degrees. Ice could be seen on the launch vehicle. Despite concerns voiced by some, shuttle managers reluctantly decided to press ahead for a late morning liftoff.
6, we have main engine start, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
Challenger, go with throttle up. Challenger, go with throttle up.
At 11:39 Eastern, twice the speed of sound, the Challenger's fuselage breaks apart from the inside out. America's space program suffers its first fatalities in flight.
We come together today to mourn the loss of 7 brave Americans, to share the grief that we all feel, and perhaps in that sharing to find the strength to bear our sorrow and the courage to look for the seeds of hope.
With this practically rebuilt space transportation system, each remaining shuttle mission would be safer than the one before, and its final flight, the safest.
It's almost like we've had kind of 3 different space shuttle programs. First 10 years, we're off learning how to fly the thing, deploying satellites and flying laboratories in the back. Next 10 years, we're doing more of that, and we're going out on more and more spacewalks, and we fly up to the Mir space station. And in the last 10 years, we use it to build about a 1 million-pound space station in orbit, which wouldn't have been possible without shuttle.
And since its return to flight, the shuttle program has been almost singularly focused on completing construction of the space station. Through and possibly beyond 2020, the ISS will serve as the world's first full-time research laboratory in microgravity. Among zero-G experiments already conducted aboard the station, several have led to promising breakthroughs in the research and treatment of cancer. Many other on-orbit science findings have the potential to significantly improve the quality of life back on Earth.
Liftoff of the Challenger of Columbia. Discovery, and the shuttle has been landed.
For more than 30 years, the fleet and thousands of Americans dedicated to its safety and success have toiled in exhilarating triumph, heartbreaking tragedy, and most often, quiet obscurity. Their contributions have extended beyond the bounds of space. Among others, shuttle-derived technologies have been used in developing an artificial heart and limbs, three-dimensional biotechnology, a light for treating tumors in children, and improving crime prevention and wildfire detection. From crawler driver to payload specialist, from scuba diver to pilot, from scientist to engineer, they and many like them throughout the nation share a commitment to sending humankind safely into space. That dedication, as much as any other acclaim, will be the legacy of America's space shuttle.
I think we'll be remembered in thousands of years, as perhaps the most incredible technological feat of humans of our time.
As is the order of life, an ending for the space shuttle becomes a beginning for a space-bound successor. Soon, America will again send astronauts into orbit and beyond to do what NASA does best: explore.
Well, this little girl and the board of the Challenger persevered on behalf of our children, their love of science, and the growing need for STEM education. It's the students who are currently in kindergarten through 5th grade now who are going to be our astronauts on that mission to Mars in 2030, and we have to think about them. We are now fortunate to have developed a synergistic partnership with the Science Museum, giving the Challenger Learning Center a home so that students may come to the center and also enjoy the benefits of the center, such as visiting the planetarium and touring the center, thus enhancing their CLC experience. We may see other benefits by bringing the CLC to our region. Our region is burgeoning with science and technology of all sorts, and we need to develop a trained workforce to support the local tech companies. Students who are in the 5th through 8th grade, regionally 80,000 plus students, are at that critical point of deciding what career path to pursue. Exciting the students to pursue a career in STEM education will provide a local resource of students to our local universities and an educated workforce to our local tech companies. We will also be a resource to the community and regional businesses as a really great way to promote science education and team building skills by providing people of all ages the opportunity to participate in CLC missions. The Challenger Center will bring a state-of-the-art STEM education center to our 19-county region via a location at the Science Center. Our goal is to complete construction by the early winter with missions to fly by February of 2013. Not only does it benefit our students, but our region as a whole. And we'd like to thank our many, many supporters who have donated their time and money to this project over the years. You can follow us on the web at www.challengerlearningcenter.org. And with your continued help and encouragement, we're on our way. And it's a go for launch. Thank you.